Right. I felt like it was one of our more, um, better team games. I felt like all three phases really worked well in this game to put us in position to have a chance to win. Certainly, our defense and special teams carried the load early. First three possessions on offense, we had to punt the ball. But I thought our defense really answered the bell. We really, Reese Burns did a nice job. Our punt team did a really good job of pinning them down inside the 10. But once we kind of settled in, I thought we were able to be really effective on offense, in particular rushing the ball, the play action pass, um, and really no panic. First time I really felt like our team is starting to understand what it takes to win. Really showed poise, showed developing some confidence, stayed focused on the task at hand, and were able to pull away in the fourth. So, good, solid team win. Lots of positives in terms of how we played and how we competed. I thought the effort was really good. The toughness was really good. We continue to make progress. So I'm excited about this week for our seniors. Certainly their last home game. A big opportunity for our team to send these guys out the right way. And also a big game relative to the Western Division and taking a step forward there. And South Alabama is a team that I also think is better than their record indicates. They've got several explosive players on both sides of the ball that can create issues for you. And I think we're going to have a great week of preparation to get ready for this team. So with that being said, we'll take a few questions here.
You talked about sending the seniors out the right way. How cool, I guess, would it be to be able to send them out at home by becoming bowl eligible?
Yeah, I mean that's part of the next step. In our mind, it's a little more about the Western Division than it is bowl eligibility, but I do think that's out there for us to accomplish. Really, to me, it's critical. I want these guys to experience success. That's what I get the most gratification out of. And these seniors have been a pretty special group. 25 guys we'll recognize Saturday. A lot of guys these guys have been through the good and the bad, right? They've seen the ups and the downs in this program, been very receptive coming in the door, and done a great job from a leadership standpoint and example standpoint. Really grown up a lot. So I want some of those guys to want to send them out the right way. And I think our football team feels the same way. So we had a good look in our eye on Sunday, and I'm anxious to see what we can get out of this team.
How satisfying is it? Go ahead.
You talked about wanting a four-quarter team. After watching the film, is this a team that you've been waiting for? Like, if guys play to what you've been expecting, or?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I feel like we punted 4 times on offense. I think 2 of those were probably coaching. 2 of those were probably just execution by the players. I do think that defensively, the one possession, there maybe it was the third or fourth quarter, I'm not sure, late in the game where they moved down the field and scored. I thought we were sleepwalking a little bit there. You'd like to finish the game right there on defense, get the ball back, maybe get it in hand. But, we still got deficiencies. We still got areas where we can make improvement, whether it's gap integrity, whether it's, mental errors, whatever the case may be. Still young players making progress fundamentally. But the big thing is I think we're learning how to compete. We're staying focused on the right things throughout the game. We're showing poise. And at some point or another, this group's got to develop a level of belief that they can do it. We got talented guys that I think are starting to see that they can be really good football players and play like that. So I think it's definitely our best team game, in my opinion, in all 3 phases.
How satisfying was it to see where the defense started this year, and really the defense kind of turned it around? You guys, extended the lead. The defense got a 3-and-out, extended the lead.
Right.
Got an interception, extended the lead.
Right. No question. It kept us in the game early, and then at critical times in the second half, made stops, created a takeaway. And I think that's where we're at. We got a bunch of new faces over there that started the year with 0 experience. and those guys have continued to get better. I think we've coached better. I think players have made fundamental improvement. We've eliminated the mental errors, the lows, the technique issues. And then we've got some solid play from a lot of veteran players, too, who maybe were here last year and have started to really play at a high level for us.
Coach, you talked about Raymond after the game, but I have a feeling we might be hearing about him a little bit today, later on. But just talk a little about what he's done, and did you see anything on film that he can get better at, or is there anything?
Well, we're certainly pleased for Raymond. I think he maybe was named Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Week. So, I think Raymond is a great representation of our team. His attitude throughout those times where, maybe he wasn't getting the touches. He's always been a very explosive player, even last year as a returner. I think the guy's made tremendous progress as an inside runner. Vision, instincts, and his home run ability's always been there. But I think he's just a guy who's made the most of his opportunities and earned those touches. And we made it, we talked about it Saturday morning in the staff meeting. We're going to make a conscious effort to make sure he gets his touches and has those chances. And you can't argue with the production. So really a selfless guy. He's also a flyer on the punt team, impacts the game every week on special teams as a returner, as a cover guy. So really a good team player and a guy who's had a tremendous attitude throughout.
You had kids show up at, I think it was Appalachian State, and then Zion the other day. What's fine with those guys? Kind of a different guy type thing, and just the progress that they've made.
Yeah, the defensive front is a position that's made – we're getting solid play out of some guys maybe that were not household names. Benny Higgins, certainly Zion Hill as a rookie has impacted our team. Ladarius has had some really outstanding performances throughout the year. And with McDowell being out, to see Booker, Maypew, Porter, those guys play significant snaps and do a good job and play solid was good to see. 3 young players there. So, I think in general we just made, the practice has started to pay off in terms of how we're running the ball, stopping the run. We do it every Tuesday, Wednesday. We put that ball down and test our will on both sides of the ball, especially up front.
How's Regis doing?
Regis is, I think he's going to be ready to play Saturday. He did some things in the walkthrough yesterday, but it's a soft issue. He's had an issue with that lower leg the last couple of weeks, mostly just contact related, but this was a little more soft tissue deal. But he's fine. He's just a little banged up. And there's another guy who shows up, blue collar, tough, never going to tell you that he's hurting, just basically got to a point where he wasn't as effective and told us that. So I think he'll be fine and be ready to go Saturday, but we'll know more about that as we watch him the next couple of days.
Updates on Tariq Miller
McDowell. It's that time of the year. I think we've got lots of guys that we're going to have to be watching this week. Tariq Miller being one of those, Eric Guerrer being the other. I don't anticipate McDowell being available for the game. He'll be out again this week. Pretty significant issue there. Outside of that, the usuals are out. Still got a couple concussion guys, Callaway, Tommy, all those guys are out. So, but, it's that time of the year. We got a lot of guys who are going to be modified in practice this week. I thought our plan last week in terms of how we modified practice worked. We played faster. We were a little more prepared to play. I felt like we were a little sluggish at Troy. We fixed it a little bit, so I think that paid off.
A couple other housekeeping things. Are there any guys who are going to go through senior ceremony on Saturday that maybe might have an extra year of eligibility left, but then they're just done? And then on the flip side of that, now that you're kind of around the 4-game mark, freshmen might be playing. Chris Smith is one. Any other?
Yeah, that's a good question. We're going to have a couple walk-ons, Cade Cunningham and Chris Turner, two guys that are redshirt juniors that are in their final year of eligibility, guys that have long-term goals, graduate school, kind of moving forward, that have been tremendous players for us, take a lot of reps in practice and do a great job. Some of those guys that maybe are getting redshirted that are going to participate would be Chris Smith. Braylon Trahan is a guy who's kind of in limbo right now. He's a guy who's played in 3 games as safety. And then Chase Rogers, this may be the first week where he actually plays in the game a little bit. A lot of that will be based off how he performs in practice. But he's going to wear pads. He's going to participate. We're going to modify his plan. So with 4 games to go, each week we'll be evaluating him to see if he's ready to play. Chris Smith and him would be the 2 in particular that we're going to play the next 4.
2 more things sort of related to that. Stevie with the senior thing and all that, and then did Dylan have any shot at getting in the game, or is that out?
Who?
Joe Dylan.
Oh, no, Joe is his next appointment to be cleared is January the 6th. He was ruled out a long time ago, but he has made tremendous progress. I mean, he looks like he could play. We're excited about getting him back next year for sure. Stevie will not be back and prepared to play this year. He's a guy who has another year, and that'll be a decision that we'll make going forward.
The running backs, are they exceeding what you expected when you took it at the start of the year? Is that kind of something that you didn't see? Maybe is that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just to be very blunt. I mean, I was very impressed with the offensive personnel that we had here when I got here in spring practice, and I was excited about what I felt like we could do. And certainly, telling you guys the whole time, the offensive line, the running backs were a big strength of this team, and I think all of the players in general have they've learned what's required, to go play at a really high level. And those 2 groups in particular have practiced the right way, maintained the right attitude, continue to work, and their habits and their investment is starting to pay off. So, and we coach better. We've found our identity a little bit. We've started to realize maybe what's our recipe for success. So, I think all those combined, I've been very pleased with the personnel that we have.
Time for one more.
Southdale, what are the concerns? And related to that, you guys face a lot of backup quarterbacks this year. You might possibly see another one this week. How does that complicate things for you?
I think that South Alabama is a team that has several players that are disruptive, especially on defense. I mean, front players that can be a problem for you. Inside backer was an all-conference player last year. Several cover guys that made plays throughout the season. I think on offense, outside receivers are outstanding. And I think this is a team who, there are some unknowns because they haven't played 3 quarterbacks throughout the year. One of them still banged up, questionable. Played 2 guys, started 1 guy, then he's a little bit better athlete than maybe the guy that started the season. So we're going to prepare for what we've seen, and then we'll adjust once the game starts based off which quarterback plays. But I think in general they've got a pretty good identity over there, and I think we'll have our guys ready to play.
Not knowing who you're preparing for, how does that complicate your week in any way?
Well, it just depends on if they're drastically different conceptually or not. If there's a drastic difference in the concepts that they're running. Probably the most difficult situations are the one when one's a pure passer and one is a true athletic guy that maybe the concepts that they're running are drastically different, So I think those are the biggest scenarios. I don't know that we have that problem this week.